Thank you, PS, Master of Ceremonies, Honorable Assistant Minister, the Executive Chairman, Fiji National Sports Commission, CEO, Fiji Sports Council, Dr. Anna and team from Ministry of Health and Medical Services, executive and members of the Fiji's national sports organizations, ladies, gentlemen, brothers and sisters, Bulavinaka, and a very good afternoon to you all. It is my pleasure to be here this afternoon, and I would like to begin by thanking the organizing committee for the invitation extended to me to be part of this forum on the return to sports and recreational activity framework. As a nation and globally, we welcome pathways to return to normal times and sports. Health and wellness are basically on top of the agenda when it comes to this. And this afternoon, I would also like to acknowledge the work put in to prepare the official document for the return of sports in a very structured way. This will ensure the protection of all our athletes, players, technical officials, coaches, and referees. Sports in 2021 has shown that it still plays a major role in our health and wellness. And this was evident as Fiji celebrated its second gold medal at the Olympics in men's rugby sevens, and the icing on the cake being the remarkable effort by the Fijian to win the bronze medal. These efforts and thousands of other athletes at the Tokyo Summer Olympics and Paralympics showed the human will through sports is well geared to face any adversity. Both these events also have laid the platform for conducting COVID-safe games. And I'm sure this forum will take note of its success and challenges in moving forward to a return to sports. The restarting of social and organized sports and recreation activities will require each stakeholders to play their part in re-engaging in safe sport. It will also require the implementation of a complex process to ensure the safety of athletes and all stakeholders in the sporting industry. And I am pleased to see that all the relevant stakeholders are on board towards that goal. Ladies and gentlemen, to ensure that everyone can proceed, we need the support of all our national sports organizations. That this time, they must also take responsibility for their sports club and in particular, the community activities in their particular sports. Compliance at all times is imperative, again, for everyone's protection. It very much depends on all sports having their 2020 Fiji Safe Sport certification in place to proceed to any activity. I'm told that 4 of our national sports organizations have still not had their protocol certified. So if they wish to continue, they must do it. Sports value as a social connector and is one of its most powerful development attributes. Sports is basically a social process, bringing together players, teams, coaches, volunteers, and spectators. However, as noted across the globe, it also has the potential to be super spreader events of COVID-19. And we cannot and will not allow that to happen. Already, more than 500 Fijians have lost their lives to this horrible pandemic. And we will ensure that the sporting pathways become a pathway to health and wellness and not to a hospital bed. Programs that reflect the best value of sports, fair play, teamwork, cooperation, respect for others, and inclusion are the key principles for sports. These same principles must now apply to this new return to sports framework for all Fijians. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm also pleased to launch our 3-level traffic system of safe return to sports. Currently, we are in red or level A, but upon advisory from the Ministry of Health, we will proceed to amber, otherwise known as level B, where non-contact sports and non-contact training can commence, but under certain protocols and restrictions. We intend to advance onto green, which is level C, as this is where we can practice all sports, including contact and full training and competition can commence. Each of these levels depend on everyone's involvement, be it athletes, officials, technical officials, administrators, and even spectators receiving their full vaccination. This will ensure the protection of our younger athletes. Now that this framework is in place, we must remember that it will depend on us to ensure that once we achieve the return to full contact sports, we don't fall down to square one. And this means learning to live with the new protocols that in many ways makes sports safer from a sanitary health viewpoint and save lives. This government, as always, is committed to the health and safety of all Fijians above all consideration, and will continue to do so as long as COVID pandemic poses a risk to Fijian lives and livelihoods. We will very closely work with our fellow partners, the Ministry of Health and Medical Services, to advise us regarding this as we move on towards the return to sports for all Fijians. We may operate under new protocols and rules, but I would like to express the commitment of the Fiji First government towards the continued success of sports in this country. I wish you all the very best in the discussion on the framework for the resumption of sports and recreational activities in Fiji. Thank you and Vinaka.